St. Brown the Trojan proudly presents a recap of America's pastime. It's called pastime for a reason. Immediately starting out with one of my two favorite teams, we basically dominated everyone until we played the Toronto Blue Jays, where we lost our first series. Then we went 9-4 the rest of the way. Why did they have their record? I'm gonna be honest, weak competition. The two quality opponents we've played against, we went 2 for 4 with 2 series losses. We've got to play better against quality opponents to earn legitimacy. What's next for the Rays, you may ask? Some big series against the Bucks, Yanks, Orioles, and Mets. I bid you boys good luck. Now here's the logical transition right here. The Baltimore Orioles are a weird team in baseball. And that's saying something. They somehow blew a series against Boston, lost to the Athletics of all teams, and still has the second best record in the AL East. The Orange Birds better think a very weak schedule for this. They've played two quality series against the Yankees and Rangers. And they somehow beat the Rangers. As for who they play next, it's the Braves and the Rays. I will not wish you luck. As for Canada's baseball team, this is the most average good team you can find, if that makes any sense. They completed one sweep but won a lot of games. Now, why did they do that? They clearly delayed the movie till 2023. Duh. They play Boston and the two Pennsylvania teams coming up. Oh joy, it's this team. This team is impossible to break down in one little segment, so just watch highlights of them for my recap. It's pure insanity. They're playing some not-so-serious baseball, which makes the game a whole lot more heckin' fun, but it's not going to help you compete. As for what's next for them, the Blue Jays, Phillies, and Braves. Wait a minute, this team was supposed to go 5th in the AL East. Yankees? What happened? These guys have been weirdly unsuccessful. They haven't swept anyone, and they ended the month cold. Keep your expectations low, folks, because court has been halted because Aaron Judge has been injured. It's gonna be a long season for you guys. This team is weird. They won 4 Yankees games out of 7 and won 2 out of 3 against Houston, but lost series to the Red Sox and Nationals of all teams. Why are they first in the division? 4 words. Terrible, terrible, terrible division. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys won it. Up next for you guys, first to tilt with the White Sox, which, considering you played the Red Sox and Nationals and lost to both of those series, that's probably a coin toss. And then a huge series against Cleveland, which it's probably about as big as May baseball could get. After starting 5-2, the Cleveland Guardians took 13 L's compared to 8 dubs against an arguably easier schedule. They mostly have a losing record because they dropped 3 wins they shouldn't have. They lost to the A's, they lost the series to the Tigers, and they lost the series to the Rockies. And it's only going to get even worse from here. Next up for you guys, the Yankees, Twins, and Tigers. That didn't sound as intimidating as I wanted it to be. This team went 7-9 in the wildest way. They got swept by the Rays, they won an Astros series with 2 extra inning game dubs, they lost 7 straight, and then they won 5 straight. Thankfully, they returned to predictability. Just kidding, they won a series against the Brewers. I'm gonna be honest with you, this team is literally just Boston but less crazy and Miggy Cabrera. Up next for you guys, the Mets and the Cards. Much more good luck to you than the Birds. What could have been. After splitting the series with Houston, they ended up getting overconfident and died. See kids, this is why you stay humble. Of course, overconfidence isn't the only reason why they're so bad. I mean, look at their bullpen. They're terrible at pitching. And up next for you guys, the Twins, Reds, and Royals. At least you should win a few. This team flew pretty much under the radar. They had a just as bad start as the Athletics, going 4-16 to start the year. They then won 1 game each against the Angels, D-backs, and Twins. Why did they start so poorly? Let's just be real. They're bad. They weren't even going to compete anyway. But that 4-16 start pretty much decimated any hope at a World Series. If you were a better team, you would have a pretty easy schedule against the White Sox and A's coming up. But you're not, so yeah. Now here's a lesson about taking advantage of your situation. The Rangers lead the division by taking advantage of a hungover Astros and watching everyone else absolutely die. I mean, sure, this team is good. I mean, they're 17-11, they have to be. But they're showing some very early cracks with a loss to the Athletics and getting swept by the Reds of all teams. The Cincinnati Reds. Coming up in May, Angels and Mariners. Enjoy. The Houston Shooters, or Astros. After a poor 3-6 start against pretty easy wins like the Tigers and White Sox, they ended up finishing 12-7 for the month. Have they woken up? And the answer is probably yes. Don't gloat too much, folks. They'll be back. As for what's next for you guys, even more divisional opponents. Get ready, or don't. I don't care. The Angels. This is an extremely undeserved winning record. The only quality series win, if you can count that anymore, is Seattle. These guys are terrible in the skies. Why are they here? 5 words. Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. They alone cannot carry a team, though, like their manager blindly believes. What's next for you guys? St. Louis, Texas, and Houston. This is pretty much a guaranteed 3 or less wins right here. Well. This team is very competitive, but this time they're losing the close games. Why are they here? Mariners unluckiness. To be honest with you, I've got nothing. What's next for you? More divisional opponents, starting with a free win and then taking on the 2 Texas teams. Yeesh, alliteration, Dr. Seuss. This team is just sad. They have yet to win a series. They've had 1 win against a decent baseball team. They are the worst team in the MLB, and this team is so dead. Their owner really wants to move to Las Vegas for some reason. Oakland now only has a soccer team left. Ew. And it's not like Vegas gets much. They just get a crappy baseball team that's decades away from competing seriously. What's next for you guys? Mariners, Royals, and Yankees. Does anyone in Oakland even care? Aha! My other favorite baseball team starting off the NL. The Braves are showing cracks, more so than the previous 2 years. But this team is still in a really good position to make the playoffs. Why are they 18-9? Absolutely incredible team, minus a dumb bullpen. What's next for us? Miami, Boston, and Baltimore. Should be some good stuff. Now to switch to an uglier color. The Mets are also showing cracks in their team, mostly due to age with their pitchers. The NL East race is far from over, though. Why are they here? Crazy good pitching staff. Yes, I know I dunked on them earlier because they're in their 40s, but the Mets still have good pitchers. What's next for them? Free win after free win. Get ready for some overinflated confidence in Queens. The Marlins are interesting. They started at 3-6, but then went 8-3. They then dropped 4 straight and won 4 straight. Why are they here? They're just decent. No quality series wins really, but they did beat everyone they were supposed to, at least. What's next for you guys? Braves, Cubs, Diamondbacks, and Reds. What the heck is this? You guys were supposed to be dead weeks ago, but now you're somehow over 500. Why are you guys barely over 500? Bad start followed by a great pickup. This team should be interesting to watch, that's for sure. What's next for them? Dodgers, Red Sox, Blue Jays, and Rockies. All I have to say is watch them dumb around to another World Series. The Washington Nationals won a series against the New York Mets. Well, I'm convinced. You guys are going to the World Series immediately. I mean, the fact that you guys won double-digit games is a very pleasant surprise, but you're still decades away from competing, and you face really good teams. What's next? Cubs and D-backs.
All I have to say is watch them dumb around to a World Series.
This was supposed to be the slide that the Brewers took, not you. What the heck are you doing here? Yeah, somehow this team went from 9-7 to first in the division. What the heck? Why are they 20-9? Devoted fans and one old guy in a crazy good streak, I guess? I mean, other than the Dodgers, they've yet to play a real team, but they're doing your job against weaker competition. Wait a minute. Beating up crappy and underachieving teams? One old guy that used to be really good on their team? Overinflated confidence? Say no more, baby. Pirates going to the World Series. Well, you guys look like you were going to lead the division in April by a wide margin. And they sure were cruising until the Tigers and Red Sox, of all teams, made them burp. But this is still a really good team, and I wouldn't be surprised if this team makes a deep playoff run. As for what's next for you, 3 wins and Dodgers. I expect you to be at 40 wins next time I see you. This is the definition of inconsistent. They took a series against the Padres and Dodgers, but died against Miami. At least you guys play Washington, Miami, and St. Louis, so you guys should have like 5 or 6 wins. But you guys really need some consistency. Yeesh, I don't know what to make of this team. One day, they're competitive. The next, they're walloped by some other slack team. Why are they here? Inconsistency. Like the Cubs. What's next for you? Padres, Mets, and White Sox. Who knows? Here's a team that's really missing last year and hope they would have made a deeper run than they actually did. They started an okay 7-9 this year, but then they ended up dropping 9 of their previous 12 to become 10-19. Your insane talent from last year's season is gone. Prepare to become the new Reds, boys. And what's next for you? Angels, Tigers, Cubs, Red Sox. 3 wins before, but now they're coin tosses. Wow, I am even more disappointed in the Dodgers than ever. This was supposed to be the freest division ever, but somehow the Diamondbacks of all teams became number 1 in the division. This team is doing its job, that's for sure. The question is, how long does this last? This has been a strangely good stretch against mostly good competition. Why are they here? Weak/underperforming division. That's all I can think of. What's next? More free wins after Texas. Good luck out there. It's only gonna get nastier. Trust me. Well, these guys are not what they used to be, that's for sure. Weak schedule, and you still are mediocre. Thank goodness you can't gloat about winning the World Series anymore because you're underperforming as heck. And what's next for you? Philly, San Diego, and Milwaukee. 3 tough teams. It's only going to get worse from here on out. Well, you won a series at Atlanta. Positive? I don't see any other quality series wins, though. They did play some tough competition, though. They'll be back. Why a game in Mexico City, though? Coming up, Reds, Dodgers, and Twins. You should lead the division by the time those 3 series are over. The Giants are quite tiny, as this team doesn't have one good thing I can say about it. Except for the 5-game win streak at the end out of nowhere, which will immediately be snuffed out come May time. Why are they here? They can't pull out wins against teams they're supposed to beat. This is going to be a long season. What's next for you? Astros, Brewers, and Nationals. At least you'll get 1 or 2? The Rockies. This team somehow won 2 games at San Diego and 2 games at Cleveland. Don't ask me how, because they were horrible the rest of the way. Why are they here? Horrendous offense, strangely enough. Weird, the other side of the coin works just fine at Coors Field. As for what's next, Brewers, Mets, and Padres. So yeah, more death. Well, the first month of baseball is in the books. I don't count March because there was only one game played that affected the standings in that month. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, ring the bell, and don't forget about John 3:16. And I'll see you next time. Now, the question some of you may be asking is, why didn't you show a baseball schedule like you did with the football schedules during football season? Well, because one, that would become way too much of a headache, and number two, I just like John 3:16 up there as a fresh reminder.